We have Mike Bastavanos here with us today at the Mindfulness Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Thank you for being with us today, Mike. Would you mind telling us a little bit about what you do here?
Sure, Yasi, I'd be happy to. I wear several hats at the Mindfulness Center. I'm a Qigong practitioner of medical Qigong. I'm the Tai Chi instructor and also a Qigong instructor and also an Asian bodywork therapist. I do shiatsu, also a licensed massage therapist too. But shiatsu and medical Qigong are my main bodywork practices. As a Qigong instructor, I teach people how to use and cultivate their energy, their life force, and the energies from the environment to combine into a training and a practice that helps people get along, be well, and feel more calm. I also do have one meditation class that I run too, which is based on the principle of Taoist meditation. And so those are my main practices.
Can you tell us a little bit about what Qigong is?
Qigong, literally, Qi is the word for energy in Chinese, but it's a very old word. So in the old days, Qi was translated as the subtlest form of matter. So I like to think of it as a sunbeam. And when you look at a sunbeam, it's something you can put your hand through, but you can't grab it. You can feel it. It has a reality. It has a kind of texture to it, but it also cannot be grasped. So it's so subtle that it can't be grasped. Now, Qi feels the same way. When you start to work with your energy and feel Qi, it feels like something is there and getting more and more substantial, but you can't grasp it. You can't hold on to it. It's got to be cultivated and shaped and formed by your practice. Gong, the other part of that word, means a skill acquired over time with persistent and diligent practice. And so we all know what that means. You just get up, you have your routine, you do it every day, and as you do it, you grow and you cultivate and you work on this energy and you work on your ability to feel it, to gather it, and to use it in your body.
How did you come to the practice of Qigong, and who is the best candidate to practice this with you in the instruction that you provide and the services that you provide here at the Mindfulness Center?
Well, Qigong itself is a component of almost every martial art in China. And I started out studying Tai Chi back in 1966. And as a part of that practice, we would do some cultivation exercises. They weren't really explained as that when we did them back then. But later on, I understood that this is what we call the Gong Fu, the ability to work on your Qi. Now, because Tai Chi is so widespread all over the world, there are several different ways to practice it, and there are several simplified forms. Qigong is even simpler than Tai Chi. The forms of Qigong are symmetrical, and they require almost no learning curve at all. You can come in, do the Qigong movements, and feel like you've accomplished something right there on the spot without having to worry about remembering or forgetting anything. They're very, very natural movements. So for instance, a movement like open and close. You're just moving your arms, expanding, pushing together, coordinating with the breath. This is the inhale. That's the exhale. And over time, you start to feel the subtle energy field around your body. And with a little instruction, you learn how to expand it and feel it get more and more substantial. So something as simple as that can be used in a bunch of different ways in a Qigong practice.
Mike, you've worked with some cancer patients that we have here at the Mindfulness Center, and you've worked with college students, you've worked with soccer moms, you've worked with every single type of person that's walked in through these doors. How does this practice help these different types of people throughout their daily life?
Well, the nice thing about these kind of energy exercises is that you can modify them according to your ability to practice. So if somebody comes in who is very, very weak, they can actually sit down in a class, and while the class practices, they can do arm movements, and then when they feel like it, they can get up and do some standing movements. And we've actually had people come in and do that, and they get great benefit. At the end of the class, they feel like they're more energetic, more of their life force, more of the flow of their blood, more awareness, and more ability to do the things they need to do in their life to survive. So this can be done by almost, well, I would say anybody. In fact, there are ways to practice even if you can't get out of bed. That makes it harder to come to class. But I have actually taught people how to do lying down practices. There are lying down practices for people who are really, really ill or can't get up for some reason. It actually has been used, my teacher used some of these techniques to help a fellow who had double paralysis in the legs from a war injury. And they had stopped giving him physical therapy because there was not enough charge going through his nervous system. And after about 2 months worth of work with Qigong and medical Qigong, which is a way of extending energy into the body, his physical signs were such that the electrical charge from his spine to his legs was back up high enough that they put him back into physical therapy, and he started to recover. So this actually, he had failed out of physical therapy, and then they put him back in. And the only thing he did was to work with Ted and do these exercises and do the medical Qigong.
So this is a place that veterans can come and work with you as well. Wounded warriors, we do have the VA close by as well. There's all kinds of different medical institutions in this area, high schools, colleges, and all of these people will be able to benefit from Qigong, Tai Chi, and your instruction and practice here at the Mindfulness Center.
I think that's right. And I think, as I said, this is a kind of practice, all these practices, all these techniques, Tai Chi, Qigong, and medical Qigong therapy, or Shiatsu as a bodywork therapy, all of these things can be combined too and integrated.
Mike, we appreciate your time with us here today, and from what I'm understanding, Qigong, Tai Chi, and your instruction and practice here at the Mindfulness Center is a great way for our community to reduce stress and to learn techniques in order to live healthier, optimal lives. And is there anything that you wanted to add to that?
That's actually a very good point. And in addition to that, people can, in doing these practices, gain a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge and actual experience about their body as an energetic structure, in addition to being a physical structure. This is the way that all Chinese medicine works. The theories of Chinese medicine are actually energetic theories about how the body's energies interact. So when you do Qigong, or when you do Tai Chi, or when you do medical Qigong therapy, you are actually working with, affecting, and balancing out the energies of the internal organs and the energy flows in the body. This is like a matrix of energy that exists, and when it's off-center, when it's dysfunctional, it can cause a symptomatic illness. But you can actually treat the imbalance or the deviations of qi before they become illness, which is the great benefit for the Chinese medicine system, and especially the Qigong and Tai Chi routines, is that you can actually go in and start to make a change before you actually get ill. So to start a practice is really the way to stay well. These are wellness practices in addition to being recovery practices. So that's very important to know, is that you ensure your ability to stay well by doing these practices. So that's the way it works. And you really have to try it to understand just the power and the importance and the great benefit of doing these things.
So come to the Mindfulness Center, do some Qigong, do some Tai Chi, start healing and living well. Thank you, Mike.
Good. Okay, so let's take a little look at the Tai Chi form, and we'll compare it to one or two movements from Qigong. This is a Tai Chi form that comes from the Yang family, and it's called Yang Jia Mi Chuan Tai Chi Chuan, or Yang family hidden tradition Tai Chi. Okay, so now we'll do a little demonstration of a Qigong set. So as I said before, the Tai Chi movements are asymmetrical, and the Qigong movements are more symmetrical, easier to remember. So when we do Qigong, we start out with cultivating energy, expanding and pulling back together. And then we work with different energy flows in the body. So for instance, coming over the head and pulling down. Very simple. Virtually no learning curve on this one. Anybody can do it. Or we may work with the lungs, So expanding, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And then we may work with the kidneys to bring the energy back to the kidneys. and so on. So what this does is charge up the various organ systems of energy so that they balance out, and you're sure that you have enough energy in all your organ systems to go through the day and be well. Okay, thanks everybody.